Okay, going to go through an interesting game that happened Friday night with Nebraska. I've been watching Nebraska kind of closely. My feeling was this was going to be a tough game on the road. If we had played Nebraska last year, I think we had an opportunity to beat them. This year, a little different story. Five-star transfer quarterback from Georgia, Dylan Raiola, kind of changing the offense. Nonetheless, Nebraska surprisingly loses to upstart Illinois in overtime, 31-24 last night, and that's a big surprise to me. And there's good and maybe a little bit of bad news for Rutgers regarding both those teams, which they play this year. Illinois is looking to be that game towards the second half of the season that could be problematic for us. Brett Bielema doing a pretty good job. Initial reactions to this game last night. Dylan Raiola will be the best pocket passer we'll see all year. He has the arm, knows where he wants to go to the ball, go with the ball. He's very purposeful in the pocket. He'll try to take off every once in a while, but that's not really his game. You've heard the Patrick Mahomes comparisons. Good thing they have receivers who can high point the ball, because when he launches that ball, it's usually a little bit high. Might be some opportunities for us there for deflections and some turnovers. Nonetheless, initial impressions, Luke Altmaier reminds me a lot of Ethan. A pretty decent arm, the way he releases the ball, the flight of the ball, the way he hits receivers open underneath. His athleticism and escapability skills a little bit underrated. He's not going to run the ball a lot, but he absolutely has the ability to leave the pocket and gain some yards. He had a big game, 21-27, 215 yards and 4 touchdowns. Raiola, I think he had just under 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and a pick. The thing about Dylan Raiola is he can be pushed into making mistakes. He has that gunslinger mentality to him. You can get in his face, get around his feet, flush him out of the pocket, make him throw in a way or from a position or to a receiver he really doesn't really want to throw to or isn't completely open. So, he's got that kind of feast or famine gunslinger kind of mentality to him. So when it comes to being able to defend these guys, I actually feel a little better defending traditional quarterbacks than the athletic guys who have escapability skills. So our matchups against Nebraska and Illinois are going to be very even. I don't think there's a lot of difference between Rutgers, Nebraska, and Illinois. Now, Nebraska last night didn't have many yards rushing. They had like 49 yards rushing. A lot of that was because of sacks. Illinois had 6 sacks against Raiola, 3 in the overtime. So I'm not sure how that all fleshes out as far as how well they protect the quarterback or able to run the ball. But, even so, they only would have had about 100 yards rushing. So I like our opportunities to be able to manage Nebraska's running game. And if we can get sacks, get to the quarterback, get him on the ground, harass him some, I like our opportunities there. Raiola is going to make his passes. He's going to be able to hit guys in stride, hit guys if they're open, if he has to throw it into a tight window. Oh my, a little different story. He's kind of that polished kind of quarterback. He's, not sexy. He's not a physical specimen. He's not a beast, but he's just going to move the sticks, complete the passes, move the ball down the field, and does a good job with that. Rushing-wise, Illinois had a pretty good rushing game. Brett Bielema, he's going to want to run the ball and play defense like he did it with Wisconsin. So Illinois is kind of a problem. I'm shifting a little bit now. I think Nebraska is beatable even on the road. By the way, that was a quiet Nebraska crowd at the end of the game last night in overtime. 400th consecutive sellout. They went home disappointed. Will Nebraska lose again at home this year? That might, the odds are, kind of against that. But nonetheless, there's people already A little worried about Matt Rule in Nebraska. I just read this morning that some people are calling for his job. I guess that's the way it goes in a big game at home when you have aspirations to be a top 10 team. They were ranked 22 and 25 respectively. So Nebraska is going to drop out. Illinois is going to move up, and this is shaping up to be the game for us. So, excuse me, early on this year, a lot of the talking heads were saying our schedule is going to be one of the things that allows us to be successful this year. And, okay, Michigan, which isn't looking like the daunting task it would have been in the past. And Ohio State, Penn State not on the schedule, but there's a lot of teams that are going to be pretty good, and we're seeing now with Nebraska, with Illinois, these Washington, even though they lost to Washington State, who, by the way, 54-52 win and I think triple overtime last night against San Jose State. Maybe they are for real this year after beating Washington. Who knows? But I think teams like Illinois catching people by surprise, and they are potentially could be a problem for us. In a perfect world, we'd like to see them continue to do well. So when we play them on the back end of the season, we get a win against them. It'll help soften the blow of not having to play Penn State at the end of the year. Nonetheless, Illinois, Nebraska, not a lot of distance between Rutgers, Illinois, Nebraska, and quite frankly, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's going to be an interesting game. We'll see what happens there. Nonetheless, everybody enjoy college football weekend, and we will talk to you soon.